Hello, people. A very good to all of you. First of all, guys, let me extend a very warm welcome to all my dear friends. So, guys, before we head towards discussing about the CA Foundation accountancy subject, let me give you a brief background about myself and the academy. So, guys, my name is Prathik Jain. I'm a chartered accountant by profession and a teacher by hardcore passion. Yes, I started my career in the year 2011 working with a multinational auditing firm by name Deloitte. So I was there for nearly about 4.5 years, in which the initial 3 years I was working as an article assistant. And then 1 year I served as an audit executive. And then in 2015, I qualified as a chartered accountant. And then I served in Deloitte the remaining 6 months as a qualified CA. From there, I moved on to become a senior finance manager, heading the accounts and finance department for an agri-based private limited company for about 1.5 years. So guys, at the age of 25, I was the youngest person to head the accounts and finance department, whereas all the other department heads were, 33, 35 plus. So after having gathered, a lot of experiences and learning from, those two places, I then started, my own venture, and I started my practicing firm. And I did that for about 2 years, where I successfully built a very good client base. Sooner I realized that my passion was more towards teaching kids and mentoring kids. So that's when I decided that it is more important that you follow what you love, right? So that's when I slowly started doing counseling bit by bit and started taking home tuitions. And then Fortune's Fun Learning Academy happened, where I started teaching for the 11th and 12th grade students for both CBSE and state board. And then in 2020, when the entire world was hit with pandemic, we started with Kalprix Academy, where we thought of providing the professional courses like CA, ACCA, CMA, CS, CFA, etc. Right? So Kalprix Academy aims to provide interactive physical and online classes for professional courses such as CA, ACCA, CMA, CS, CFA from the best faculties of the country. So guys, this was all about me. The poster that you're seeing in front of you is the score that the students have, got in their batch 1 and batch 2. And bye. So, and we have to, understand how do we go about scoring such marks. So today is this program, guys, where we're going to learn what it takes, to score really well in your exams, not only in foundation level, I'm telling it all the levels. Guys, before you, get into any game, right? What do? You gather the information about the game. You know what is the game all about. You understand the rules and the regulations of the game. And then you analyze what are your strengths and weaknesses that can contribute to the development of that game. And then you plan, make strategies in such a way that you can convert your weakness into strength. And depending on the situations, you keep on upgrading your plans if there is any specific need. Then you do adequate practice, right? To get expertise or to excel in a particular thing, you make adequate practices. And then finally, you will find out what you're good at and you'll be focusing more on that. For example, if I talk about cricketing, Sachin Tendulkar is good at batting or bowling. Batting. So his niche segment was batting. If I talk about, let's suppose, Jasprit Bumrah, he's expert in bowling. So he has worked really hard in that particular zone. So in this same way, the same rule is applied when you study for your professional courses. You need to know, if you're into CA Foundation, you need to know what is CA Foundation all about. What are the rules and regulations in the foundation? What can help you to score, at the top level? What can pull you back? So the subject which is going to pull you back, how do you plan strategies in such a way that you can, overcome the, negative things in that, right? Then you have to do adequate practices, which is coming in form of revision and test, right? And the subject which you are very good at, you have to work so hard, so smart in that you get, 80, 90 plus in that. So overall score of your CA Foundation can be pulled up, right? So today's session is going to focus on those areas. So what is the agenda of today's session is basically we will understand what is the evolution of the CA foundation in the history of ICI. What is the accounts syllabus? What is the weightage given to each and every chapters? Your question paper marking schema. How does your question paper comes? How much each questions will carry marks? And I've also made an analysis, guys, where each year, whatever the exam paper has come, I've made an analysis sheet that from this chapter, how many marks question has come, or from that chapter, how many marks question has come. So a detailed analysis has been made chapter wise. Then what is a prerequisite to score 90 plus? What is it required for you to score 90 plus in your accountancy subject? What are the references, materials, and the tools that will be used to help you score what you are targeting to score? Right. So this is the agenda of today's session. So here we go with the first agenda, the evolution of the CA examination. Guys, if you see, prior to 2004, your CA foundation was called as PE1, which had 4 papers, and all the 4 papers were subjective and descriptive. Exactly the same way as you had your board examinations. Your CA intermediate was back then called as PE2, which had 6 papers, and all the 6 papers were subjective and descriptive. And your CA final was called as CA final itself, consisting of 8 papers, subjective. In 2006, that is in middle of 2006, the entire CA levels have gone a very detailed, significant changes. A lot of changes had come into those. In fact, all the levels of CA. If you see, your PE1 was converted to CA CPT, where you had 4 papers, but all the 4 papers were made objective. Objective means what? MCQs. And all the 4 papers came with negative marking. And your PE2 was converted into CA PCC for a few years. And then this PCC was further changed into IPCC. So PCC initially had 6 papers. Then when it was changed to IPCC, it was being made to 7 papers. And all the 7 papers were subjective. And then you had your CA final having 8 papers. All of them were subjective type. So if you ask me, I've been following this particular schema where I had undergone CPT, IPCC, and CA final. Then again in the year 2017, that is 1st July 2017, again CA Institute felt that there is need to revamp your entire structure of the CA foundation. And then the CA CPT was converted into CA foundation, where they felt that having all the papers objective doesn't make sense. So they felt that accountancy and law should be made subjective because people need practice. Because in your CA inter and CA final, you have accountancy subject. So if you get through CPT, like in MCQ, people, do inky pinky ponky and sometimes gets through, right? So people felt that, it is not the right way. So we need to give them, a proper question so that, they can filter and take good quality, students to the next level. Because in CPT, any Tom, Dick and Harry was getting passed. So then ICI felt that, somewhere we have to put benchmark where the quality students get into, CA and they don't get trapped. Because a lot of people, they got into CPT and they've come to CA inter and then they realize that, oh, CA is that difficult and now we can't, do it further. So this, ruins really almost 1.5-2 years of your life, right? So that is when foundation was introduced in 1st July 2017. So 2 papers were, objective. That is your economics and your mathematics was still continued as objective paper with negative marking. And 2 papers were subjective type, which is accountancy and law. Then the CA IPCC was converted into CA intermediate, where you have 8 papers now and all are subjective types. And then we have CA final, 8 papers. In that 7 papers are subjective, 1 paper is elective. Elective is basically an open book examination where you'll be given 4 hours. The question needs to be answered. It's an open book examination. Now the best part here is that you are here doing CA foundation, but there is no assurity that you will be doing this. The reason being, again, CA Institute last week have decided to revamp your entire CA foundation inter and final, where they have proposed a lot of changes, and those changes today are in public domain for the reviews. So once you complete foundation, and when you come to intermediate, there'll be a lot of changes happening. Maybe this 8 papers will be clubbed into 6 papers. So inter is going for a massive change. Final is going for a massive change. So I'm waiting for the CA Institute to finalize what they are going to do, and we'll have a webinar on that where I'll be discussing in detail what are the changes that is happening at all the levels of the CA examination. And also there are a lot of changes that is being made outside the examination, such as articleship period is going to get reduced from 3 years to 2 years. Your stipend is going to get doubled, and a lot of other changes they are planning to come up with. So I'll be doing an exclusive webinar on the changes, probably once the CA Institute gives the final notification for the changes. Now, if I have to talk about CA Foundation, guys, so far, see, in July 2017, the changes were brought. The first examination took place in May 2018. Right? So first attempt of the CA Foundation was done in May 18. Second attempt was in November 18. Third was in May 19. Fourth was in November 19. Then world was hit with pandemic. May 20 exam did not happen because all of that period was totally, we were in complete lockdown, and they tried to extend the examination, but due to some reason they could not carry out the examination as planned. So people had to miss that 6 months period, and then the next attempt happened in December 2020. Here again, what happened is there are a lot of students who had enrolled for the CA examinations at different level, but again institute realized that even during that period, either the students or the parents were getting affected with COVID, right? So people are not in position to go and attempt for their paper. So what CA Institute did is, as a good gesture, this never happened in the history of ICI, but this happened at that point of time. They said that all the students, those who are affected with COVID, or if your parents are affected with COVID, we will give you another opportunity immediately the next month. So you can opt out of December 20 examinations. All the students, those who have opted for December 20, you can opt out of it and apply and write the exams in Jan 21. Normally the examinations happens, very well, it is every May and June. Sorry, May and November. This time, this November exam had postponed to December, and immediately after December, they gave a new attempt called as opt-out attempt. Opt-out attempt, right? And after Jan 21, again, May 21, they tried to keep examinations, but again, there were certain genuine reasons because of which it got postponed to June, and then again it got postponed to July, because again there was a second wave stuck in the month of April, May. So the next attempt after Jan 21, it took place in July 21. Now, all these dates, what I'm telling is very important, because all these examination papers will be working out. So you should know that which attempt, when, what examination have been taken place, right? So July 21, the next examination had taken place. After that, the exam was supposed to happen in November 21, but again, it was postponed to December 21. So if you see this entire 2021, the exams could not happen as planned in the month of May and November, right? After December 21, here the examinations were supposed to happen in May 22, but again, all the board examinations, for state board as well as CBSE took place, and it got over only in the month of May and June. So here your attempt is going to happen in June 22. If I'm not wrong, the date is somewhere around 23 of June. Your foundation attempt is going to take place. So in total, guys, how many attempts is over to so far? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So attempt that you're going to prepare is your 10th attempt of the CA foundation, and maybe the last attempt of this could be May 23, because from November 23 onwards, there's high probability of the new pattern, new scheme, new levels might get implemented. So your last attempt could be May 23, but again, we have to wait for the ICA notification, whether they are planning to implement the new scheme from May 23 examinations, or will it be November 23. But for sure, your December 22 or November 22 is for sure going to be the same old CA foundation, having 2 paper objective and 2 paper subjective. Online students, am I clear with what I'm talking?
Yes, sir.
Everybody,
Yes.
please respond.
Yes, sir. It's okay.
Excellent. Now, guys, we have discussed this in detail in the CA Career Guidance program, but I'll just quickly, run through, because few people here have not attended the Career Guidance program, so they might not know. So, guys, your CA foundation comprises of 4 papers. Paper 1 is Principles and Practice of Accounting. It's a 100-mark paper. You'll be given 3 hours to write the examinations. It is a descriptive paper. Your second paper is Business Law and Correspondence and Reporting, basically law and DCR. So section A is business law for 60 marks. Section B is business corresponding and reporting for 40 marks. Both put together 100 marks, descriptive paper, and you'll be given 3 hours to complete this. And then your paper 3 is your business mathematics, logical reasoning, and statistics, which is again bifurcated into 2 sections. Section A is business mathematics and logical reasoning. Section B is statistics. 60 marks and 40 marks respectively. Now here you'll be given 2 hours to complete this MCQ paper. One catch here is that for every single wrong answer, 0.25 will be deducted. So here your strategy should be that you should attend only that much question, how much you're confident with. If you attempt extra questions, then because of negative marking, things can get bad for you. So I'll be teaching you how do we plan for this. Of course, the respective teachers will guide you, but at overall level, I'll be helping you with the strategy that how do you approach with each and every independent subject. Here comes your 4th paper, which is business economics and business and commercial knowledge, economics and BCK. Section A is economics, section B is BCK, 60 and 40 marks respectively. Again, you'll be given 2 hours to take up this MCQ examination. And again, this comes with negative marking of 0.25. Now here it is, guys, paper 3 and paper 4 is slightly dangerous because of negative marking. So you have to be very, very cautious. Mathematics is always one subject, where people will, somehow manage to score to a decent level, 50, 60, 70s, that is fine, depending on how paper comes. See, paper can be sometimes easy, it can be sometimes medium level paper, and sometimes it can be tough level. So depending on that, you can score anywhere between 40 to 70 in your mathematics. Again, economics, last 2-3 attempts I've seen that paper was decent, average to easy paper have come, and people have scored quite well. But still, this paper has a setback because of the negative marking. So I always consider paper 3 and paper 4 little bit dangerous, where we cannot rely on these 2 papers for significantly scoring. So if I eliminate paper 3 and paper 4, paper 1 and paper 2 are going to be your saviors. If you have to touch 200, guys, you know that minimum 40 you have to score in all papers. Minimum you have to score 40 in all papers. And overall, you have to touch 200, which means the combination should be what? 60, 40, 60, 40, or 50, 50, 50, 50, or 55, 45, 55, 45. So in all the papers, minimum 40, but overall, your total score should touch 200, right? I've explained this in detail in the career guidance program. So now here, guys, business law, there's a small, problem that law has to be written in a certain specific way. So people, those who are, having a very good command over English language, those who love theory, they will find this kind of, easy to score. But others, you might find it little difficult because in law, whatever the question they're asking, if you don't write the specific point what they're expecting, then you might not get marks. Here in CA, guys, always remember how much pages you write, how much pages you fill, that will not determine, how much score you will get. Even for a 4-mark question, if you write 2 or 4 points, if it is to the dot and to the point, you'll get full marks. So here, quoting of the sections wherever required, writing the provisions, the language of the law correctly, that is very important. So this will require a lot of practice. This is not like a usual theory paper. You're going to be an expert in law. So you have to come from that professional point of view. So again, paper 2 is again to some extent risky, you can say. But still, negative marking is not that. To that extent, you can be happy. So one and only paper which is going to act as your savior is your accountancy subject, where you have to target scoring 80 plus, 80 to 90 marks. That is easily doable. I'll tell you why. Your 50 to 60% of your accountancy is nothing but your 11th and 12th. Now I have people from both state board background, that is Tamil Nadu state board background, and CBSE background. If I have to talk about Tamil Nadu state board, guys, if your accountancy, see whatever chapters is there in your accountancy, 11th and 12th, all the chapters are there in foundation. But the problem is that the level of question that is being given in the state board book is very easy. It is not competitive. It is not something where you brainstorm that much. Because of which, if I do the same chapters in the CA foundation, that level will not match. If I have to give example, your CA foundation is level 5. If your CA foundation is level 5, your Tamil Nadu state board books is level 1. So there's a huge gap between 1 and 5. So people directly from state board, if you go and appear for your CA foundation classes, there is heavy possibilities that you'll fall in the gap. And over last 2 years, your syllabus have been 50% reduced. So half of 11 people have not studied, half of 12 people have not studied. So now this level 1, I'll tell you, is as good as level 0. People don't know anything. Right? So here you have to make your 11th and 12th foundation very strong. So if your 11th and 12th foundation is strong, then your CA foundation will be strong. Only if your CA foundation is strong, on that you can make 2 strong pillars of CA inter and CA final. The entire purpose of bringing the accounting in the descriptive format was to make your subject more stronger, so that when you go to inter and final, you can easily digest it, because inter and final are next level. There the faculties will not have time to sit and teach you the basics. So you have to be super duper strong in the accountancy subject. So when you go to inter first paper accountancy, final first paper accountancy. If your accounts paper goes well, then you can imagine the rest of the examinations will be kind of well. If your first examination gets a hit, then you can imagine how the rest of the examinations will be. So accounting paper at all the 3 levels have to be super strong. So all the state board people, guys, apart from attending your CA foundation classes alone, you'll also be doing the special classes which I'm going to give you, and few people have already started watching the special classes. So when you watch those special classes, from level 1 you will come to level 4, and by watching my CA foundation classes, you'll come from level 4 to level 5. Right? If you can see the score that the students have scored here, if you see, Priyanka is a girl from the matriculation background, Keshav is from CBSE, Nandini is from CBSE, Pratiksha is again matriculation. So all these people is a combination of state board and CBSE. Even these people have undergone both my special classes as well as my foundation classes, because of which they're able to score as top as 19 marks. And imagine, guys, in CA, getting 60 and above is a big dream for a lot of people. If you get 60, you're like, you've achieved something big. So if you're going ahead of that and achieving 90, 80 and 70, then you can imagine the kind of hard work, the kind of smart work what these people have put into. Right? All these people have strictly followed what I suggested, what classes you're supposed to watch, what is the revision pattern, what is the test that you have to take, what you should study, what you should not study. Everything was discussed in detail with them. All the strategies were laid down very clearly, and that helped them scoring that much marks. So same way for you also, guys. If you are planning to score 90s, 80s and 70s, definitely you'll have to follow each and everything that I say. And trust me, my experience of 10 years, I'm telling out of my experience of 10 years, nothing will go wrong. If you follow strictly, and my advice, I don't give only to the foundation students, I'm helping out inter and final students independently in helping them clear their examinations. I'm not taking any classes for inter and final, but the mentoring and the guidance actually, value adds in a lot of ways to help, help the person, to stabilize his or her mind and to take the preparation to the next level. Right? So if you strictly follow what I say, guys, you'll be completely comfortable in scoring 90 plus. If I talk about CBSE students, guys, CBSE, I'll tell you the book, couple of books are very good books. If you're following those books, definitely I can say you can be at level 3 or level 4. If you have studied really well, if your base is very strong, please don't think that by scoring good marks in 11th and good marks in 12th, you will be, very good in accountancy. It doesn't mean that way. For you to be good in accountancy, you should be having a strong hold on the concepts, right? That is when I would say that you are at level 4. So all these people those who have done the special classes with me, right, from 11th and 12th, you will be at level 4. And all those who have not done, or if you've done okay of CBSE, still you will be at level 3, because level 3, the books, the quality of the questions is so competitive that you can never be at level 1 and level 2. So you will be at level 3. So all those students, those who are at level 3, to come to level 4, you need to take up my special classes. And from level 4 to level 5, anyways, we'll be doing it from the CA foundation point of view. So this is the entire planning that we need to take care of, right? So matriculation students, you might have to spend, let's suppose, 400 to 450 hours with me to come from level 0 or level 1 to level 5. And maybe CBSE students who are already at level 4, or any student who is already at level 4, 120 to 150 hours is more than enough for you to score 90 plus, right? And maybe those who are at level 3, you might need maybe 250 hours of training to get at level 4 to level 5. So I'll be guiding you, depending on how you perform in the test, I'll be guiding you what you need, what you don't need in order to keep on scoring. All in people, am I clear with what I'm talking?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Others? Everyone, please respond.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Wonderful. So guys, now next is, let's have a quick look at the syllabus of your CA foundation. If you see, the first segment is, guys, theoretical framework, in which we'll be learning what is the meaning and scope of accounting. So this is something which I've already studied at 11th standard level, right? Accounting concepts, principles, and conventions studied at 11th level. Maybe a little bit, incremental version of that you might find here. So that we'll study, don't worry. Accounting terminology you've studied already in 11th. What is capital and revenue expenditure, capital and revenue receipt? This is studied in 11th. Whereas contingent asset and contingent liability is something new. So contingent liability, you've got a clarity in the cash flow. That is 12 CBC people have got a clarity in cash flow, but we'll be discussing all this in detail afresh. Accounting policy is something which is coming in 11th standard. Accounting as a measurement discipline, valuation principle, accounting estimate. This is kind of new. In this few are new. Few is something you would have already seen in 11th standard. Then comes accounting standard. You would have seen very slight glimpse of accounting standard. So here also we'll be doing a quick recap of that and take things forward. You don't have in detail accounting standards, whereas your CA intermediate and CA final almost 40-50% comprise of only accounting standards. So that significant, that important accounting standard is. Then comes your Indian accounting standards, concepts and objective. Here also we'll only see the glimpse of it, whereas the detailed version you will see in CA inter and CA final. Now guys, from this particular segment, you can expect questions up to 5 to 10 marks. Minimum 5, maximum 10 marks. This is that important. You cannot skip even a single chapter here. All that I've discussed in that PDF, you can see from scope of accounting till Indian accounting standard. If you take up the past examination papers and totally, if you see, from a range of 5 to 10 marks, the questions have come from this particular segment, right? So we'll be going through all this, but again in 11th and 12th we have discussed things in detail. Now please understand, you're doing 11th, you're doing 12th. Let's suppose around 150 hours of 11th, 12th is around 200 hours, right? So 150 plus 200 is 350, or maybe let's put this also 150, just for easy of understanding. Therefore, in 11th and 12th put together, you have studied for 300 hours. Now in CA Foundation, you have additional 150 hours. So 450. So in CA Foundation, 150 hours, if you expect somebody to teach full of 11th, full of 12th, and full of new CA Foundation, then it becomes very difficult. The time is constrained. To cover 450 hours of training, I have only 150 hours. So my approach will be 1/3. So remaining 2/3, you will be missing it out. For that reason only, I tell you to watch those special classes, wherein 1/3 you will cover in your CA Foundation and 2/3 is getting covered in your special classes. So that will help you to score overall 80 and 90. Guys, I told you the CA Foundation accountancy subject, 60% is coming from 11th and 12th. So then what is the remaining 40%? Remaining 40% is nothing but the extension of the 11th and 12th topics. Bills of exchange you studied in your 11th standard, right? Where you studied what is the meaning of bills of exchange, promissory note, accounting treatment for all that. And accommodation of bill, you just learned as a theory part there. But here you will have to see the practical questions of the accommodation of bill. Basically, your remaining 40% is nothing but whatever you've studied in 11th and 12th, it's continuation. Its advanced versions will come, number one. And there are few new chapters, 7 to 8 new chapters that will come into picture. This 60%, you have to make it super strong. With those special classes I give you. Therefore, the remaining 40% will become easy when I do the CA Foundation accountancy. But all the other students, what they cover is they cover their entire 100% of accountancy in the CA Foundation classes. Now, if you imagine 450 hours, I have to squeeze and make it 150 hours, then you can imagine how much questions they'll not solve it, how many concepts you have to let it go. In our regular class, we explain all the concepts in detail. Now, since we have time constraint here, all the concepts will be squeezed. Are you able to follow? So I hope all of you are able to understand the need for the special class that we have to undergo. Next is, guys, accounting process, which talks about books of accounts, basically your rules of debit, credit, your journal entry chapter, and your ledger chapter. Rules of debit credit, if I have to talk about Tamil Nadu State Board book, you would have studied only the golden rule. Whereas in CBSE, you have golden rule plus modern approach. And your entire CA foundation, nowhere we are going to use the golden rule. So your entire ruling system has to be completely revamped. Now, this is a good example why you need to undergo those special classes to make your basics more stronger. Because in CA foundation, I'll prove time and again why golden rule is a failure and how modern approach is going to help you. So books of accounts, preparation of trial balance, rectification of errors. This is all something you've studied in 11th. But in rectification of errors, there's something new that you're going to study in your CA foundation. So if I do rectification, I'm not telling that I'm only going to take the new concept. Definitely, I'll go through the concept from the beginning. But the pace in which I'll take will be slightly faster. The questions that I work out will be comparatively lesser because I have to do in 1/3 time. No? So that 2/3 I will try to leave it for you to do in the special class. Then comes your bank reconciliation. So whatever you studied in 11th standard, a little bit advanced version of that you will see in the CA foundation. And then inventory is a complete new chapter. So from the examination point of view, guys, this particular segment, accounting process, BRS, inventory, and depreciation. Depreciation, again, if you see, you'd have learned certain methods. That is SLM and WD method in your 11th standard, right? You'll see now the additional methods and advanced level of questions in the depreciation chapter. So all this put together, if you look at the past examinations paper and analyze, you see 25 to 30 marks have come from this particular segment. 25 to 30 marks from these chapters. It can be in any combination. So are you able to understand the weightage that is being given? This is very important. I told you, before you get into any game, before you play any game, you need to know about the game. You need to know the rules of the game. You need to make strategies. This is what we are doing. Just imagine if you don't know what is the weightage, which chapters will you give more importance? So there's a lot of things that detailed planning is very important. Guys, CA is known for his complete planning. As if a CA cannot plan for himself, then what will you plan for your clients? What will you plan for your boss? So here, guys, you will have to learn the knack of planning things well in advance. Wherever required, upgradation of plan is required by being realistic. And then execution of the plan is even more important. So here, your professional career begins with a bang-on approach. You should have it so that you can excel in your career. If not, if you carry your same old traditional approaches, then you're screwed. Moving on forward, guys. After depreciation, there is accounting for special transaction, where you learn what is bills of exchange. Bills of exchange is something which you've already studied in 11. But in addition to this, you learn how do we, pass accounting entries for accommodation of bill. So this is slightly tricky. You have to be very, very careful. Then from 2 to 5, all these chapters are new. Accounting for sale of goods on approval or return basis. We call this as SOGRA. Sale of goods on return or approval basis. I've just changed this, interchanged. This is called a SOGRA. Consignment accounting, average due date, account current. All these are, if you understand the concept properly, it's easy. If you tend to by heart, you're screwed. You'll not get any questions right. So from this accounting of special transaction, guys, if you look at, you can expect somewhere around questions from 15 to 20 marks. I've mostly seen 20 marks coming from this particular segment. All these chapters put together from bills of exchange till account current, you may expect 15 to 20 marks. I'm not telling that only 20 marks can come. Sometimes it can be even 25. But on average, if you see the weightage that has been allocated by ICAS, this much is the weightage. If you go and type in Google, what is the weightage for CA Foundation Accountancy, you'll get the same. Then comes your final accounts of a sole proprietorship concern, which you have studied in 11th standard. Trading account, P&L account, and all the adjustments. Now, the final accounts, what you've studied, that was the final accounts of a non-manufacturing entities, where you've learned the trading and the P&L account alone. Right? Now here, in addition to this, you'll also learn the final accounts for manufacturing entity, where you will learn how to prepare the manufacturing account, plus trading account, plus P&L account. But it's very easy. Where people go wrong here is in the adjustment part. So this adjustment we have studied very well in the special classes. right? So same thing will be learned here. If you're very strong with the special classes, this is a cakewalk. That easy it is. But adjustments, I'm telling you, are very tricky. Only if your base is strong, then you'll find this part easy. Then comes your partnership accounting. Partnership we are studying in 12th standard, which will have your fundamentals of partnership, goodwill under partnership. Then you have change in profit sharing ratio. Then you have admission, retirement, and death. Dissolution is not covered in your syllabus. Dissolution of partnership is eliminated from your syllabus. Yes. So 12 state board students, guys, all of you know that 50% of your partnership has been eliminated. So you can understand the partnership, what you're going to learn. I think few people have already started attending my special class of partnership. You would have seen the level of change that is significantly coming in those classes. So you'll be covering it up in the special classes. So once you complete the special classes, you'll come back to the CA foundation classes where I'll do a quick revision of fundamentals, goodwill, CPSR, admission, retirement, and death. And then we'll be learning new concepts in the partnership. The new concepts are very less. Here, if you see 80% of the concept is coming from your special class only. 20% only new you have to learn. So if you've done your special classes properly, partnership is a very scoreable area. Small theoretical part or what is LLP of partnership. This you learn also in your law also, and here also you will learn it. Very simple. And then there is financial statement of not-for-profit organization. If you've done my special class properly on NPO, you're 90% done. NPO is 90% done. Balance 10% is what you're going to study. That 10% also easy. Right? So that is the significance and the relevance of the special class. Here, if you see, 30 to 40 marks has been asked from this segment. 40 marks is quite rare. 30 marks minimum comes from this segment. You can straight away expect 10 mark question, 10 mark question, 10 mark question, straight away. 40, sometimes what happens means they give a 15 mark question, a 15 mark question, 30, and a 10 mark question. It can come in any combination. It can come in any combination. But this segment is that big. But advantage of the segment is that if you've done the special class properly, guys, I'm telling you 80% of the segment is already covered in the special class. 80% is covered. Only 20% effort. Now you understand why people are scoring 90, 80s. Because our work is done before itself, foundations, even it started. Even before the foundation started, we're done. Then comes your section 5, which is Introduction to Company Accounts, where you will learn how do we account for shares, how do you account for debentures. Now, as long as the state board students are concerned, you would not have learned about debentures. In your syllabus, only it is accounting for shares. So you'll be learning debentures. Now, guys, if you attend my special class, I can say 99% of this chapter is covered. All those who are done with my special class, you can be assured that 99% of this has been done. So you should feel very good that a lot of foundation is already completed for you. Little bit here and there it is pending, which is very good enough to cover in this 4 months. So in this particular segment, 10 to 15 marks is being coming every year, every attempt. If you say 10 to 15 marks is coming, this all put together is overall 125 marks. Out of 125, you have to score 100. How this 125 is coming, I'll discuss very soon. Guys, are you able to understand online people? Abhi, Arjun, Ashwin, am I going fast or is this pace fine to understand? Bhumika, Kavi, Kavya, Rishabh, are you all with me? Rupesh, Shrikant, Saraswat?
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
Any doubts so far what we discussed? Is it informative? Are you getting some good insights on the subject?
Yes, sir.
Only people are waiting for your eagerness and excitement. I can't see that excitement, boss.
Yes, sir.
Wonderful. Now this is how your question paper pattern going to be, guys. You'll get in total 6 questions in your final, that is foundation examination. In that question 1, it is for 20 marks. It is compulsory question. Now in this 20 marks, what is the order in which the question will be asked? Like how much marks each question? What is the sub questions? Everything I'll discuss in short. Your question 2 comes sometimes for 20 marks, sometimes 25 marks. I'll say why it is. Question 3, 20 marks. Question 4, 20 marks. Question 5, 20 marks. Question 6, 20 marks. So out of this question 2 to question 6, You'll attend any 4 out of these 5. Each questions will be for 20 marks. So 20 into 4, 80 marks. So 80 marks from these 4 questions and 120 mark compulsory questions. That put together is 100. Now, if you have to talk about compulsory question, guys, this is broken down into 3 parts. Your first part of the question will always be true and false. From your May 18 attempt and so far, your first 12 mark is always true and false. Each question will carry 2 marks. You will get 6 questions here into 12 marks question. Always true and false. So you cannot ignore theory. I told you that initial theory we started, no, that 5 to 10 marks. It is coming from there. Then the next question, 1B, is for 4 marks. It can be a theory question or it can be a practical question. They can ask you a 4-mark theory question. Maybe it can be a direct question or indirect question. So this can be a theory or it can be a practical question. And 1C is again 4 marks, either theory or practical. So if you only lay importance on practical, then you'll not be able to score 90. In this overall, if you see, minimum 20 marks, you will get theory. And remaining 80 marks is practical. So you cannot ignore theory. So this is a compulsory question, guys. Then comes your question 2. In question 2, what happens? 1A will be for 10 marks. 1B will be for 5 marks. And 1C will have internal choice. Either you do this or you do this. That is how this question 2 is for 25 marks. You're getting the point? So because of internal choice, this 20 marks has become 25. 10 plus 5 plus 5 is 20. Because of internal choice, one more 5 is coming. No, that's how 25 marks. So out of this 25 marks, you have to write only for 20. Because one internal choice for 5 marks, I'll leave it. Question 3 will be for again 20 marks. The combination can be 10 mark, 5 mark, 5 mark. Or it can be 10 mark, 10 mark. It can be 15 mark or 5 mark. It can be 10 mark, 10 mark. So I'm not telling that question 2 like this only it will come. Or question 3 like this only it will come. I'm telling you it can come in any combination. All this I've given one sample. You can get a question of this combination, or you can get a question of this combination, 10 plus 5 plus 5. Or you can get a question for 10 plus 10. Or you can get a question for 15 plus 5. Or you can get a question for 10 plus 10. Any combination, it can come. This 10 by 10 can be repeated twice also, thrice also. Only one can come. This 10 plus 5 plus 5 can come one type of question, or 2 questions can come from this pattern. So this is not a static, anything they can change. But overall, if you observe the past examination paper pattern, this is how maximum they've asked for. Are you able to follow? And there could be one only 20 mark question. That is also the last option. Very rare. This is how. So out of these 5 questions, guys, you have to attempt any 4. So like that, your question paper is totally for 125 marks, in which you have to score 100. Am I clear with what I'm saying? Online people, am I clear with what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Any doubts, please?
Yes, sir.
And this is what I was talking about, guys. If you see, for each and every attempt, I've prepared a document. For example, this is May 2018, guys. If you see May 2018, question 1 comprises of, always I said it, true and false, 12 marks. Your 1B is difference between provision and contingent liability, direct question, 4 marks. Then it is rectification of error, 4 marks. So I've given, for each and every attempt, I've given for which question how much marks has been asked. So this will help you to know where you have to give more weightage, which chapters you have to study first to score maximum marks, or to which segment you have to attack first, so that you get a lot of confidence. If you see question 2, you have a consignment account question for 10 marks. ADD stands for average due date for 5 marks. And for the 2C, if you see, a question is asked from SOGRA, that is sale on goods on approval or written basis, and 1 question from account current. It is internal choice, 5 plus 5. In that, any one you have to attend. If you see question 3, final accounts of a non-manufacturing entity, straight 20 marks. 1 single question, 20 marks. In question 4, they asked accounting for shares for 10 marks, in partnership, that is retirement chapter, for 10 marks. Question 5, ratio analysis, that has been omitted and deleted from your syllabus. It was applicable till, I think, now May 19 or November 19. After that, it was deleted. That is, royalty accounting and ratio analysis was deleted from your syllabus. And then question number 6, if you see, it is BRS, and again, rectification of errors, 10 marks each. Like that, I'll be giving you this analysis for each and every examinations to help you understand. And finally, I'll tell you that in that particular attempt, what was the passing percentage? So you can understand how the papers have come. See, in some attempts, people have had the pass result as 19.24. Next examination, the pass percentage was 44.12. Immediately next examination, the pass mark came to 18.58. So this is to give you an understanding. Don't judge. There is no pattern. ICA will be like, judge me and I'll prove you wrong. So based on this pattern, do whatever speculation you want to do, ICA will prove you wrong. That is one point you have to infer from here. And second is, you need to understand that 18%, 17%, 16% people are getting. So imagine the kind of hard work that you have to do. So don't take any examinations lightly. Don't think that the previous examination was easy, so this will be tough. Or previous was tough, this will be easy. Anything can happen. What is there in your control? To work hard, to work smart, to work enough, to practice enough. Focus on that, guys. Automatically things will be taken care of. Right? So this is something I'll be sharing with all of you during, that is when I take each and every chapter. For example, if I'm starting with bills of exchange, I'll tell you that each and every attempt, how many questions were asked from bills of exchange. So that level of analysis will be doing. And now coming finally, guys, what are the references materials that we'll be using for accounting? Very, very important. Here people do mistake that they avoid the CA, ICA modules completely. They take some author's book and they blindly follow it. Please do not do it. ICA modules is very, very important. 40 to 60% of the questions comes as it is from the modules, maybe with number and name change or little bit of changes in the adjustments. So that important is. Now the question is, what all does it come under ICA module? First thing is ICI study material, which is the book that you would have got. You would have got a 6 set of book. Immediately when you complete your CA Foundation registrations, couple of days later, you get an email to place the order and you order a complete kit of 6 books. That is called as ICI study material. That is a Bible. You cannot leave that book. Whatever questions are there in that, you have to minimum work out 3 to 4 times. Minimum 3 to 4 times you have to work out. Then comes your past examination papers. We have to solve all the past examination paper minimum twice. So once we'll try to complete it in class maximum. Maybe some I'll give it as homework. And once you will do it by yourself. All the past examinations papers. So that will give you confidence. If you're able to crack the past exam papers, then what this exam is going to be a big deal. So PEP has to be 100% covered. Then comes your revision test papers. That is before every attempt. ICA will release the revision test paper for practice. So we will have to work out from not only our revision test paper, from the previous revision test papers also. Sometimes the revision test paper that was released in 2020, the question from that directly will come as it is. You never know. Sometimes if you're lucky enough, same question will come. Sometimes the same value and number also, if you're lucky enough. So RTP is something which you cannot omit. This also minimum twice you need to work out. And then mock test paper. Mock test paper is before a couple of days before the exam, they'll give you a paper. ICA will release the paper in their website where you can sit and practice. So all the mock test paper that they have released so far, we have a copy of that. And I've incorporated all that in your modules and we'll be working out from that as well. And just before your examinations, ICA will further release new MTPs that also will work out. Right? All this is there in different books. It is very difficult. I found last 2 batches found it very difficult to go and refer this book, that paper, this paper. So this time I made efforts. You're working on a book to combine all this in one single book. It took 3 months of time. Even still we are working on it. So we have combined all the study material paper, past exam paper, RTPs and MTPs together so that you will have all in one place. You don't have to go here and there. Right? So this book will be given to all of you. In addition to this, I will recommend one special book that you have to follow. So if you follow all these books, I'm telling you 90 plus is assured, provided you attend all the classes properly, you do revisions as I say. If you're able to execute my plan as it is, 90 plus is guaranteed. Are you able to follow? So this is the references materials, guys. Do you have any doubts in this particular section? Abhi, Arjun, Ashwin, Bhumika, do you have any doubts? Kavi, Kavya, Rishabh, Rupesh, Shrikant, Saraswati.
No doubts.
No, sir.
When I do the regular classes, I'll be showing you how this book will look like, how this will look like, how this will be, how this will be. Everything I'll be showing you, live class, regular classes. Now, what is the prerequisite for scoring 90 plus in accountancy examination? The first and the foremost thing is conceptual understanding on the subject. If you're trying to by heart any particular topic, trust me, I'm telling you, on the recorded class, you will not be able to score marks. CBSE people, you are used to conceptual learning because your entire part of the CBSE is already conceptual way of learning. So there you will find it easy, but matriculation to some extent people tend to by heart. And in CBSE also I've seen some people, have the tendency to by heart rather than, understanding things conceptually. But my dear friends, in foundation, it will not work out. So you have to study conceptually, dedicated focus on classes or studies. Understanding conceptually is very important. Dedication in the class and studies is even more important. Dedicated focus in class and studies. People go for class. See, first and foremost thing is you need to select the right institute, right academy who can help you to achieve the target what you have set for yourself. Let me tell you guys, when I was doing my initial years of CA in foundation and inter, when I gave my CA, it was CPT. I had failed in the CPT first attempt, inter first attempt. The primary reason was I did not choose the correct coaching center, because of which I had struggled, lost my attempt, then found out the right academy, and then I've got into it. So getting into right academy is very important. After getting into the right academy, what is more important is to dedicatedly attend all the classes. How is it possible that you not attend the classes properly and that you keep a target that, sir, I'll score 90 plus? Impossible it is. Attending all the classes is very, very important. And whatever classes you're attending, focusing and attentively listening is very important. People come and sit in class. Physically, they'll be present, mentally absent. What is the use? So if you're focusing well on the classes, people think that whatever I studied in class, that is more than enough. Straightly, I'll go, a few days before the exams, I'll go open the pages and I'll clear the examinations by doing that. Impossible. You have to do the revision adequately. And at all the three levels, guys, I've suggested you one revision technique, or I'll be suggesting you a revision technique. And that technique I had followed in my CA final. There are a lot of students of our students in the previous batch, they have followed it. I give the suggestions to inter and final people. So they have given me the feedback that this revision technique is helping them a lot. So this is one of the major segment which will help you to score 80 and 90 plus. Second is habit of making adequate notes for quick revision. Please have a separate notebook where you note down all the important points, important format, formulas, important assumptions that we do here and there. All you have to note it down. Because one day or 2 days, because in CA examination, what happens is, okay, accounts, as long as accounts is concerned, it is your first exam. So you get 3-4 days of time. But in those 3-4 days of time, going through so many books will not be, giving you a good picture. Instead, if you have one single notebook for reference point, you can immediately glance at it. Even if you're sitting, 1 hour before the examination hall, you can immediately glance through it. So having, quick notes for revision will be very handy for all of you. Then having a strong base of 11th and 12th. This is very, very important. A lot of people say that, no, if 11th and 12th, whatever you've done, no problem. Come to foundation, we'll take care of it. It doesn't work. Guys, 450 hours of training. You squeeze it in 150 hours and give it to students. And you expect that, people will do well. That is possible in case if you're an average or above average people, then it is okay. To some extent, it is possible. And their scoring is somewhere around 50s, 60s and 70s. If you really want to score well, if you want to make your base strong, because your accountancy foundation is not only for scoring foundation. Again, for inter, it is going to be a very strong base. In that case, you have to have all the concepts, all the chapters superb clear. Then regularly attending all the classes. Yeah, if you're missing out any classes due to any reason, watching the recorded class and covering it up and covering the missed class is very important. Because here you miss one class, the next class continuity is totally gone. If you want to get the continuity in the next class, you have to keep on watching the recorded class and keep yourself equipped. Having or following a proper study plan. I told you that if you don't have your plan properly, like you have 4 months of examination, guys, 4 months of period to study. In this 4 months, how many hours are we going to dedicate for classes? How many hours are we going to dedicate for revision 1? How many hours are we going to dedicate for revision 2? How many hours are we going to dedicate for revision 3? How many hours for test? To that minute level, you have to plan, in which I'll be helping you out. Right? But if you don't have a plan, that is, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. I always say that if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. If you don't have a plan, trust me, nothing will work out. You will be, working as per the pressure that is coming at that point of time. You will not have anything proper way of, doing this or doing that. Everything will be scattered here and there. So having a proper plan, upgrading the plan based on the reality, based on your reality circumstances, and execution of the plan is more important. If you fail to do that, be ready to fail in your life. People omit ICA study material, RTP, MTP, PEP, and the special books. This is Bible for you, all this put together. If you study all these questions and work out minimum 2 to 3 times, minimum, I'm telling you, you'll be very good, comfortably placed, to score 70, 80, 90 plus. This is for all the subjects, not only for accountancy. You will follow this point for all the subjects blindly. Most importantly, making realistic decision instead of making ambitious decision. See, now I told you there is a benchmark of 90, and all of you have to break that benchmark. So that is our ambition. But in reality, when you study or when you go to exam hall, let's suppose the accounting paper is, the toughest paper you're coming across. And then moment you see the question, or when you start working out, within yourself, you'll understand that this paper I cannot score 90. The problem what happens is that there are few people who are very sensitive. They will decide that I want to score 90, and they will go with that approach in the examination hall. And if they're not able to get 90, they'll start panicking in the exam then and there. The moment you look at the question paper and you start panicking, your subconscious level shutter closes down and nothing you will get in your mind. Forget 90, you aim 90, but you land up getting only 40 and 50. So ambitiously, we want to score 90, but that doesn't mean that you will only focus on the marks. There is an important statement that has been given by Mahendra Singh Dhoni. Do not focus on result. Focus on process. Result is the byproduct of the process. If you take care of the process, the desired results will be achieved. To score 90 marks, whatever efforts is required before the examinations, do that. During the examinations, your process should be to keep your mind calm, composed. You will get 90. Even if you're not getting 90, what is the big deal? Ultimately, the aim is what? To pass. So don't have ambitious thought, and if that ambition is not achieved, you get panic and you spoil the entire game. Doesn't work that way. Another example of ambitious decision is people at the CA intern and CA final level. They have ambition to complete both the groups together. They want to complete CA, at the earliest. So people make a decision to write both the groups. I made the same mistake in my CA final. Somebody said to me, Pratik, you do both the groups. You have the set of benefit. So, I was brainwashed, and then I took up both the examinations. The problem was, in reality, I was not prepared. So what did I do? I made an ambitious decision. In reality, my preparation was not sufficient. So what should I have done? Anybody is coming and advising, I should have listened to that advice. Compare with the recent scenario. What am I currently doing? Is my current situation warranting, to give both the examinations? You should analyze. So like that, in your entire CA journey, a lot of people will set your ambitious decision. You yourself will set an ambitious decision, but do not run behind the ambitious decision. Depending on your circumstances and scenario, make a realistic decisions wherever required. So at the CA intern and final level, guys, I'm guiding students one-on-one to help them make a realistic decision. So that whatever attempt you're giving, guys, that attempt should be useful attempt. Useful means what? If you're giving one group, you need to pass in that attempt. Going and giving two groups, again failing and coming and giving two groups, that doesn't make sense. In CA, a lot of people, fail because they have not planned any of these things properly. Entire game in this particular screen, what you're seeing, if this goes wrong, people keep on failing. And then they say the CA is a tough course. Arey Baba, you have 24 hours a day. The successful person has also got 24 hours a day, and the person who's failing has also got 24 hours a day. If this guy is able to, utilize this 24 hours effectively and clear the examinations, then why can't you? If you're failing and this guy is passing, which means he has done something, realistic, then this guy. People say that, sir, CA is a course for intelligent people. Not at all. A person who's been scoring well in 11th and 12th, it doesn't mean that he or she will get through the foundation, intern, and final easily. CA is not a course of intelligent people. CA is a course for people, those who are hardworking, those are smart working, those are consistent, those who have that willpower and determination to clear CA, those who have that fire within themselves to prove something in life. CA is a course for that. I'm an average student. I've seen below average students clearing faster than the above average people. Because in this, you need that determination, hard work wherever required, smart work wherever required. So intelligence has got nothing to do with your CA journey. Scoring in 11th and 12th has got nothing to do with CA journey. People have scored less in the 11th and 12th, but they've cleared very fast compared to the other people. So please take out from your mind whether you can do this course or not. If you're willing to hard work, if you're willing to work smart, if you have that fire within yourselves to prove that who I am, then this course is for you. You might have to study 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day, 14 hours a day. You should be prepared for that. If you're prepared for that, then this course is for you. What do you call it? Speak truth to yourself. Don't lie for yourself. Right? So be realistic. And last but not the least, taking adequate test. See guys, in your entire 11th and 12th journey, you've taken so much of test. You have the cycle test, monthly test, midterm test, quarterly test, half-yearly test, revision test. And then finally you go and sit in the board examinations. But here what people you do know? People sit and nicely attend CA classes, foundation, inter, final. They go directly in the exam and they take up the examinations. How will you clear? You need to do adequate practice, boss. Test will tell you where you're lacking. What is your weakness? And then this weakness you have to convert into strength. This is the strategy that you need to have. So we'll have adequate test done here, probably weekly test, which will help you to analyze where you're going wrong and will help you to overcome your struggles. And the last point is spend less time on phone, watching movies, attending weddings, hanging out with friends. I'm not saying you should not do. But compared to your friends who are in college and who are not doing CA, they will enjoy a lot of movies, going out, this, that, and all. Because they're not doing CA, boss. But here, you need to study 10 to 12 hours a day. So if you focus a lot on these topics, then how will you study? How will you revise? It's very difficult because you have only 4 months of time left. In that, you have to do classes, you have to do revision, you have to take up test. Again, you have to do revision. So this is totally squeezed. And some people tell that in CA, you should sacrifice everything. Everything you have to sacrifice. That is again bullshit. If anybody says that you have to sacrifice everything in his life, he's a person who's not planned well in his life. I tell you should enjoy wherever required. If you harass this brain, right moment this brain will harass you in the examination. So wherever you feel that you have studied too much, now I need a break. Take a break. Go out. If your friends are going out for a movie, let's suppose 4 movies a month. Maybe you go for 1 movie a month. They will enjoy 100%. You enjoy 25%. That's it. I'm not saying not to enjoy, but plan everything. Sometimes you might feel that you've studied too much back to back, too much of pressure is coming. And let's suppose you have accounting class. You feel that, sir, no, I don't want to attend today's class. I want to just take a break. Go. Who's saying no? Go for a movie. Come back and catch up in the recorded class. So I'm giving you that much flexibility. Because see, at the end of the day, even I'm a human being. I understand it is not easy for a person to continuously work for 14 hours all throughout. You tend to get tired mentally. So you have to have that relaxation. If somebody says that sacrifice everything in that 4 or 5 years, don't talk to him. I'm telling you, a lot of people at the final level, I guide. They tell that, sir, a lot of people have suggested we should not enjoy. So 3 months they are into only studying. The mind is totally screwed. Because you cannot make your brain efficient. If you want to make your brain efficient, relaxing is very important. Some people, aim for marks, distinctions. In CA Foundation, there's no rank. If you score 300 plus, you get distinction. In CA Inter and Final, you have rank. So some people have ambition that they want to get good marks. They have to get distinction and rank. It's okay. But if you don't get it, maybe during the exam, you'll realize that, okay, you've done average. Don't upset your mind. Just relax. The main foremost goal is to pass. So focus on the process of studying properly. The result of marks, distinctions, and rank will automatically follow. Don't focus marks. I want 90 marks. I want rank this. Don't focus in particular. Just focus on the process of studying. Automatically, distinctions, ranks, and marks will come. Online people, are you able to follow what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Anybody's got any doubts with whatever I'm discussing?
No, sir.
Wonderful. Next, guys, what are the materials that you should carry during your classes? You should carry your reference materials, which I've discussed earlier, those ICA modules, MTPs, RTPs. I'll be giving you the set, and also the special book what I've said you, that also you'll carry. Ruled notebook, because your examination is in ruled format. They'll not give you that accounting papers. You'll have only single ruled papers, so you need to practice from the ruled papers. So you'll get ruled notebook, probably 2. One is to work out all the questions, and second will be to note down all your important concepts and points. So 2 rule book will carry. Black pen, your entire examinations, all the examinations has to be written only in black pen. In the ICI, you're not supposed to write anything in blue pen, because your paper is scanned through computer that recognizes only black ink. So the objective paper, MCQ paper also, what you'll be coloring, that will be in black, and the descriptive paper what you'll be writing at all the levels will be only in black pen. Calculator, guys, you will have to carry 2 numbers. Why? Because let's suppose you're unlucky, you go and sit in the exam hall and calculator goes off. What will you do? Calculator is your friend, best friend, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever you want to say. Without this fellow, getting through your accounting paper and maths paper is next to impossible. In our regular class, we learn a lot of accounting, calculator tricks, how do we work out in shorter way. So far, your 11th and 12th, you've been manually working it out. It takes away a lot of time. So now we'll be using calculators, and I'll be teaching a lot of shortcuts where you can solve the things and go forward, because we'll have less time in CA examination. So you'll carry 2 calculators. In case if one goes wrong, you should have a backup. Next is highlighter, to highlight the important points in the textbooks. Calculator, you will buy this particular calculator, which is CT 512. 512 is important. This comes with multiple brand. Go for a branded calculator than going for a local calculator, because local calculator will go off very soon. That link also what I've sent, you can follow that, or you can go and inquire in market and buy the branded one. You can ask the shopkeeper which is the original branded one. If you see Citizen comes with multiple names, Clitizen, Citizen, different names. Just 1 or 2 letters they'll change and they'll make a new brand. So go with Citizen CT512, very good brand. Or if there is any other brand, these kind of calculators come for 300 to 500 rupees. So go for one good calculator, because local calculators, fake calculators come for 100 rupees also. So those are useless. One time you put it down, gone. So if in exam hall, if it falls down, what will happen? Gone. So go for a good branded calculator. Here 2 things are very important. One is this GT. We'll be frequently using. This is very, very important, which is not there in a lot of other calculators. So please, when you buy the calculator, specifically check if there is a GT there. And second is this memory, MRC stands for memory. We'll be using this memory a lot. There are so many other calculators which will have memory. But the problem in those calculators is that when we do a calculation which goes and saves in the memory doesn't erases automatically. You have to go manually erase it. Sometimes if you forget to erase the memory by yourself, and the second calculation what you'll do will be the total of first 2 put together. That is, we are doing first calculation, it will go and sit in memory. And the second calculation what you do, it will get added to the first calculation and it will give a different number. So you have to buy a calculator where the memory automatically erases the moment you press this green symbol. You press this green symbol, entire calculation what you've done in the previous question should erase. So this particular calculator is the ideal one, CT512. Right? Yes, I told you. So this is a myth. CA is a course for intelligent people. Not at all. It is for the people, those who are willing to work hard, willing to work smart, those who are determined, those who have a streak of fire within them to clear the examinations. And all of you must be familiar with this. Yes. This movie, guys, has got a lot of information for the students. This is my favorite line. This is for Hindi students. This is for Tamil students. What is it? If you can read by yourself, within yourself. For Hindi people, it says that कामयाब होने के लिए नहीं, काबिल होने के लिए पढ़ो. सक्सेस के पीछे मत भागो, एक्सेलेंस का पीछा करो. सक्सेस झक मार के तुम्हारे पीछे आएगा. This means what? कामयाब means what? Success. Don't run behind success. Don't run behind marks. Don't run behind money. Don't run behind rank. Try to make yourself, a capable person. Work on everyday basis. Make yourself a better person. When I compare myself today with yesterday, today I should be better off. If my learning curve is like this, then automatically, guys, success, money, marks, rank, everything will follow. Some people, focus money. You'll not get money. Money is the end result. Don't focus on end result. Focus on the process. What is the right process of making the money? If you focus on the process, automatically the end result is achieved. In Tamil, it says that வெற்றிக்கு பின்னாடி போகாத, உனக்கு பிடிச்ச தொலை தேர்ந்தெடுத்துக்கோ, அதுல திறமைய வளர்த்துக்கோ, கடுமையா ஒளிச்சிடுற, வெற்றி ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்கா பின்னால வரும். Tamil people, did I pronounce it rightly? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So this, if you strictly follow, guys, I'm telling you, CA's cup, is a, what is that cake? What a piece of cake. What is that? What do they say? Piece of cake, right? So it's that easy. Don't hear people saying that C is a tough course, very challenging course. Nothing. Just focus on what you're supposed to do. If so many people, lakhs of people have become CA, man, what is it about you? Just hard work, smart work wherever required, and you'll be done. And whatever guidance I'm giving you at all the levels of foundation to final, if you follow that, trust me, I'm telling you, will be very smooth. And there are a lot of people, I've counseling them, because when they give multiple attempts and they fail, people are depressed and disappointed. So I do one-on-one counseling for the people to help them overcome from their depression and stress. And they get that streak of positivity and enthusiasm, which again brings them back on track. So far I've counseled around 60 plus final students. Right? Everybody's got different problem. Right? So if you have anything of that sort, just feel absolutely free to reach out to me. I'll try my level best to help you out. And this is done absolutely free of cost. I've never taken a single penny of rupee for guiding anybody. Yes. So this is the final score, guys. If you look at all the subjects, people have not done only well in accountancy. Accountancy, people have scored 90s, 80s, 70s, 60s, and 40s. In economics, if you see, 82 is the highest benchmark. Now I want this to be 90 plus. 80, 70, 70, very good marks. Not bad at all. 72, 71, 70, 68, 64, 61, 61, 59, 56, 48, and 46. That I feel really proud for people who have scored that much mark. It's not that easy. My CA CPT exam was for 200. You know how much marks I scored? I scored 106 or 107, if I don't remember exactly. So you can imagine these people have scored 80s and 90s. Imagine, it's a big thing, man. It's a big thing. Law, 80s, 60s, lot of 60s, lot of 50s. Here again, it has your business law will be taken care by Bigna ma'am, and Ishit sir will take care of your BCR. BCR is nothing but more of English classes. So here you have to have a very strong command on the language. Law is more of language. And then coming to your mathematics, excellent, 78. 78 for me is like a big achievement. People score 45, 50. I was like, enough if you're scoring 45, 50. I don't need a single mark more than that because it comes with negative marking. In mathematics, the problem is there are a lot of chapters, small chapters, right from your 8th standard, 9th standard, 10th standard, 11th standard, 12th standard, combined everything. And effectively, if you have to study that CA foundation mathematics properly, you need 450 hours or 400 hours plus. Concising that for 150 hours or 120 hours is not easy. So mathematics, always there'll be a challenge. And the biggest challenge what I come across is people in 11th and 12th, they don't opt for mathematics. So that is even more difficult for us. So if people are getting 70s and 60s, no, I'll be more than happy. If you're getting 40 to 60, I'll be happy. More than that, I'll be like cloud 9. But I'm very happy with the scores that they have given. 60, 57, 56, 56, 56, 51, 51, 47, 44, 42, 40. Max is the biggest villain of your entire CA foundation journey. Here, I will strategize and give what to do, how to do in such a way that we score somewhere in the range of 40 to 60 minimum. Over and above that depends on your skills and interest in the subject, right? So this should give you a complete idea. How do we go about preparing for your CA foundation? Right. So now I have to share a timetable for all of you. So that I'll be sharing it by tonight. So if you have any doubts regarding this, please let me know. Online people, offline people, if you have any doubts with whatever we discussed, you can let me know. Abhi, Arjun, Ashwin, Bhumika, Kavi, Kavya, Rishabh, Rupesh, Shrikant, Saraswat. Any doubts, please?
No doubts, sir.
Of course. You said no doubts?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Fantastic. No doubts. Okay. Was it that clear in speaking? Okay. Good. So yes, people, if you don't have any doubts, then I'll sum up the session. Yes. So with this, we come to end of today's session, guys. I hope all of you liked it. I hope this will help you, to understand how do we go ahead and, achieve the target of 80s and 90s, right? So with this, I come to end of today's session, guys. I'll see you all in the next class, the date and the timings of which I'll be intimating by tonight. Until then, bye-bye. See you. Take care.